Look, it's exciting. You know, you've got a long career in executive search in med device itself. And in fact, one of the things that was really fascinating for you and for me as we were going through our conversations over the last couple months is you've run very large initiatives for medical device companies, which is something that we've been doing, but now are formalizing at TMG.
Yeah. Well, I too am really excited about the opportunity to be here. And if I look back on our first engagement, I knew that I wanted to be a part of this company very quickly. TMG is a place that is focused on the med tech industry, and individuals are all rowing in the same direction. And that's what I was looking for in my next career. And going back to what you were talking about in regards to large engagements, I've been really lucky. I've had some great clients, some great customers, and some of those individuals turned into some great relationships and friendships to where I placed 25, 30, 40, 50, 60, and almost 200 people. And to do those engagements, you have to truly partner with those clients at all different levels, from the leadership to individual contributors. And I'm so excited that this is going to be the next part of my career, of where I'm going, but also that this falls into a lot of my strengths in joining TMG.
And what was interesting was when we started TMG 30 plus years ago, we said, okay, we're going to focus on the startups. Why? Because they appreciate speed, they appreciate accuracy, subject matter expertise. You were working with the key decision makers, and they had very tight timelines on what they had to deliver, right? But what has happened over the years now, and we saw it started a decade ago, is the strategic and mid-caps need to do that now. They need to, there's decisions on the C-suite, we're either restructuring a sales organization. The C-suite saying, we're a mid-cap, we're bringing in a brand new product that will launch it. The big strategic is saying, we're doing a build to buy with a partner who's investing hundreds of millions of dollars. We've got to have this many engineers over this time period with this specific skill set. HR is still there as a partner, but it's sitting right on the desk of the C-suite or the executive suite, and it's job one. And that is what was exciting for both you and I.
Yeah. When I walked out of our interview together and our couple of days together, I really knew that strategy that TMG had was going to really fall into a lot of the strengths, but also things that I was really going to enjoy doing. What's great is that TMG, if you look back 30 years, you talked a lot about it. They wanted to be experts in med tech, and they wanted to have subject matter expertise in it. And you focused, just like you talked about, speed, accuracy, high level visibility to the C-level suite, and then that partnership. And at the end of the day, those are results. You're driving results for these clients. Now, what I think is great about this is that throughout this SIS, or Strategic Initiative Service, is we get an opportunity to give the clients in these mid-cap and large strategics the same level of service and the same engagements that these emerging techs and that these startups have been getting for the last 30 years. Now, what's great is that over the last 8 to 10 years, we've been seeing more of this. We've talked about Verb Surgical and hiring 200 people, going from 0 to 250. We've talked about this new program where they're hiring nearly 150 technical people, and the whole team spending $450 million on a new device. And our ability to partner with these large engagements are going to be great. And we're really going to focus on 4 major buckets. Those buckets are building sales teams, top grading sales teams, remediation, and then we've always talked about it, the build to buy, AKA structured deals.
Yeah. And spot on there. And one of the things that we kind of came into on the commercial side is at first we weren't as focused commercially as we are today. But when Ryan Blasco came in and Mike Moore came in, those two dominated the commercial world. They were building sales teams like crazy. In fact, Blasco brought Saluda into us. And with Saluda, they said, okay, we're an Australian company. We're coming in with a neurostim play. It's a highly technical sell. It's a competitive market. We need 80 plus salespeople within a very finite time frame. Our HR team is great, but they're not designed to do that kind of heavy load, that heavy lift. They're busy taking care of other things in the organization, and we need assassin partners. So we came in there. And then we've got another client right now who's in the ortho space that is working on a biotech biologic, and they want to top grade some of their team. And they're looking at it, they're saying, okay, listen, we've got 100 people in our sales organization, 20% of them are underperforming. Okay, so what do? Well, let's go through what typically happens. You go to HR, and HR is busy doing a lot of other things, and they post, and they hope to get somebody responding to an ad. Well, what if you had a partner who said, listen, let's not hit the PIP, the incentive, the performance plan. Let's not even stretch that out 6-9 months without having a salesperson in that role. Let's partner. Let's do a market map to the talent in the marketplace that matches to what we need. Show me that talent, gives me a high level of confidence, engage with that talent confidentially, go out on behalf of us, line me up with the 5 to 7 people I want to interview. As a parallel, I can go ahead and term that person who's just not performing, therefore I would have never hit my numbers for this timeline, and I get this person in 30 days. That's almost an insurance policy.
Yeah. Well, you know, the insurance policy is great as an executive, COO, CEO, president of a division, because at the end of the day, you've got numbers to hit, you've got revenue goals, and when 20 to 30% of your staff is underachieving those goals, there's that fear. There's that fear of, I can't do this. I can't hit the panic button because I don't want that territory or that open territory just sitting there vacant for 3, 6, 9, or 12 months. So am I going to top grade my team? Maybe, but I'd rather have somebody in there than have nobody. Well, that's the quote unquote insurance policy, you know, this mapping that we'll be able to do for the clients, to where, imagine we walk in, you're a COO, and you've got 15 to 30 individuals that are underperforming. Well, we have a market map of that specific location. We'll call it Seattle, Washington. You've got Seattle. We know that we can go in there, we can find the 10 to 15 to 20 best individuals based on market, based on skill set, based on specialty, ortho, surgical, robotic, whatever it may be. And now that executive doesn't have to worry about saying, you know what, I'm going to replace these individuals, because he's got them right there. And it's confidential, of course, to where this list of individuals hasn't been talked to about your particular company or your particular brand, but they trust us, because being leaders in the medtech industry, having subject matter experts and partnerships like Mike Moore and Ryan Blasco, who understand sales, they know how to find and attract, and our recruiters are equipped to find the best talent in the market.
And one of the things too that really never made this service available before is there's no medical device search firm in the world that has more than almost 40 people in it that you can direct at a market, right? A majority of search firms, and they're good ones, have 1 desk, 2 desks, 3 desks, and they get overwhelmed. They can't handle large hiring initiatives. They do good on the lower volume, singles, doubles, and they haven't been built with media company, marketing company, data analytics, the IP inside on our AI, the digital online tools we have, the media marketing production facility. All of those are marshaled depending on the problem we're trying to solve. And finally, this is what everybody's waiting to listen to. Your search fees are almost 50% of what you would pay on a full fee, because we work just like any other manufacturing environment. Volume matters, commitment matters, timelines matter. What works for you, what works for us, what a market demands. So it adds tremendous value while hitting timelines.
Yeah. You look at it like contract manufacturer or a new product development company. And if we're scaling one, obviously numbers are bigger. You scale 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, there's a lot more room in regards to price and cost. And I know that's critical to a lot of people in finance, but at the end of the day, those executives that are looking at those bottom lines, I'm gonna go spend X with you, and you're gonna help produce Y. And they've got to feel that. They've got to be able to see that picture in their mind, that by replacing this individual in the market, sales will grow, revenue will grow, the bottom line will grow, which I think is really key.
Yeah, and then finally, we partner with HR. That's one of the things that's really important to understand when we've been on these projects, and we're in the middle of 3 big ones right now. We're in partnership with HR. HR generally is not built for high speed, high volume talent. We call it talent access, they call it talent acquisition. But they're not built for that, nor do they like to do that. We're kind of a little demented. We love to do it, right? It's our thing. But when you are part of the TA function in HR, You generally are there for a plus or minus number, plus or minus 10 over the year. You're either replacing some, maybe you're top grading somebody, but you're not handling the large volume in a very tight time frame. That is not your responsibility. Just like you outsource certain manufacturing, because your tooling is not built in-house for that, you don't have the footprint, you don't have the square footage, you don't have the labor. What do? You go out and hire a CDMO, a contract manufacturing partner. The same thing happens in talent.
Yeah. Well, and when I think about when I'm joining this company, you think about search, you've got media, and you got advisory. There's a lot of things that go into search that a lot of organizations aren't doing. We're not your typical RPO function. RPO goes in, they're very well defined, and they can take on projects to do that. However, they're missing the one big piece. They don't have people in the back office that are subject matter experts in medtech, understand joint, understand hip, understand surgical robots. I can go on a number of different industries. That's what's the firepower. And when you bring in this media center and being able to tell the story of your organization, why am I going to want to work at your company? Why do I want to uproot 5, 10, 15 years in the organization that I call family to go somewhere else? And it's that individual that we've got to spark their interest through subject matter expertise, of course, but being able to paint this picture of look at what's on the other side of the grass. Look at what's on the other side of this table, and here's why your life is going to be better.
Yeah, and we also can be invasive, right? Headhunters are invasive beings. We can go into the competition. We like going into the competition. We typically are tapping the people on the shoulder who are not looking, if not but for. They would have never turned and put a gaze at your opportunity. As you said earlier, they trust our headhunters. They've been through them many times, repetitions, conversations. Internal HR does a fine job, but by design, they generally don't do invasive recruiting. They will absolutely work LinkedIn like a lot of HR teams do, but that's not necessarily their strength. It is putting up postings, seeing what comes in. They're too busy doing so many other things. So I'm excited about this. I know you're excited about it. The team's excited about bringing this product to market.
Yeah, I couldn't be more thrilled to be a part of TMG. The leadership, the people, they all bleed the same blood, and you can really tell how passionate everybody is about the impacts that they want to make in this industry and this mission.